Breaking news! Could we see a college reunion turn into a dominant NFL partnership? The kind of headline that instantly sets Ravens Nation on fire. One of the most electrifying corners in the NFL is suddenly on the market, and the Baltimore Ravens are in a position to strike. But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens," down below. Let's dive right into it. Jaire Alexander, former college teammate of Lamar Jackson, is now officially a free agent after being released by the Green Bay Packers. This isn't just any cornerback we're talking about. This is a two-time All-Pro, a two-time Pro Bowler, and a player who, when healthy, ranks among the absolute best in the game. So the question becomes painfully clear: should the Ravens pounce? The cornerback room in Baltimore isn't necessarily bad, but it isn't elite either. The Ravens gave up the second most passing yards in the league last year. That's not just a stat, that's a liability. Brandon Stephens is gone, and while Chidobe Awuzie brings experience, is he really a big upgrade? Marlon Humphrey is still a cornerstone, and rookie Nate Wiggins could very well be a breakout talent, but depth and reliability remain concerns. This is where Jaire Alexander enters the conversation. Now, let's be clear, this isn't the same conversation from earlier in the offseason when Alexander was still under contract and a trade would have involved sending assets and taking on a hefty salary. Back then, it didn't seem worth it. Now, he's free. The only thing the Ravens would need to commit to is the right contract. But here's the catch. Jaire has missed 20 games over the last 2 seasons. That's a red flag. Add to that the fact that he reportedly turned down a restructured contract in Green Bay. And it paints a picture of a player who's either betting big on himself or holding out for more guaranteed years and dollars than the market is likely to offer. It's a gamble, but Baltimore has $20.95 million in cap space. That's more than enough room to make a competitive offer if the price is right. This isn't about mortgaging the future. In fact, extensions for players like Lamar Jackson and potentially Odafoa could free up even more space. And let's be real, this might be the year to go all in. If the Ravens are serious about surrounding Lamar with a Super Bowl caliber roster, moves like this have to be on the table. Jaire's release also makes a loud statement from the Packers, who no longer saw him as worth his contract. And with younger, talented corners like Asante Samuel Jr. still unsigned in free agency, teams might be playing a waiting game, letting the market dictate value rather than rushing to spend. But think about the optics. Lamar and Jaire, college teammates, reunited under the spotlight at M&T Bank Stadium, a revitalized secondary anchored by one of the most fiery competitors in the league. It's tantalizing. The front office may be content with the current roster, as they often are, but is content good enough to beat Patrick Mahomes in January? Or Joe Burrow? Or even Aaron Rodgers in a potential Super Bowl matchup? You strengthen your weaknesses, and right now, cornerback remains one of the few in Baltimore's armor. So, here's where we leave you in this first part, at a crossroads between caution and ambition. Should the Ravens finally break the mold and make a bold move? Could this be the start of something big, or a misstep with high stakes? Let's pick up right where we left off. The timing here is everything. We're in June. Training camps are approaching. Rosters are beginning to solidify. Yet Jaire Alexander is still out there, unclaimed, unsigned, and perhaps undervalued. This is where the Baltimore Ravens can make their move, if they're bold enough to take it. Let's break this down. Jaire didn't accept a restructured deal from Green Bay. That's not just a business decision, it's a signal. He believes he's worth more than what the Packers offered, and reportedly, that offer was incentive-laden, likely based on games played due to his injury history. Alexander passed. That either means he's holding out for guaranteed money, or he believes he can find a long-term deal with another team that offers him security and respect. But that's where things get murky. If Asante Samuel Jr., younger, healthier, and still productive, is still on the market, what does that say about how teams are valuing cornerbacks right now? It means the league might not be buying what Jaire is selling. And if he doesn't get the offer he wants soon, the price will have to come down. That's just the reality of free agency. Here's why that matters. The Ravens don't need to act out of desperation. They can wait. Let the market cool. Let Jaire's price soften, and then swoop in. But if they wait too long, another team, say, the 49ers, could make their move first. San Francisco, who just lost Charvarius Ward in free agency and has seen parts of their defense picked apart, could very well see Alexander as their missing piece. It would make sense. They're in a win-now window just like Baltimore. That's where this turns into a chess match. And Baltimore has the board position to win. Remember, the Ravens currently sit with nearly $21 million in cap space. That's not just functional, it's flexible. It gives them room to structure a deal that protects their interests while still appealing to Alexander. Offer a short-term deal with incentives. Front load it, give him a prove-it platform, and let him reset his market in 2026. That's a win-win. And if it works, you've got an all-pro cornerback locking down the boundary opposite Marlon Humphrey. Suddenly, that secondary goes from questionable to formidable. Let's also think about team culture. Jaire and Lamar were teammates at Louisville. That chemistry matters. It's not just about talent, it's about trust. Lamar is the heart of this team, and surrounding him with players he knows, respects, and believes in can elevate everything. We've seen the power of familiarity and leadership echo across locker rooms. This move wouldn't just strengthen the roster, it could energize it. Still, caution is valid. Alexander's injury history isn't something to ignore. He's missed 20 games in the last 2 seasons. That's not a blip. That's a pattern. Any deal has to account for that. But again, that's where smart structuring comes in. Baltimore's front office has shown it can get creative when needed. Lamar's deal, Roquan's extension, even the OBJ contract last year, all showed a level of financial engineering that allows for aggressive yet calculated risks. And let's not forget, this is the season. The window is now. Lamar Jackson is in his prime. You've got Zay Flowers coming off a promising rookie year, a retooled running game, and a defense that's just a few pieces away from elite. Why not push the chips in? The only real question that remains is, will Baltimore do it? Historically, the Ravens have leaned conservative in situations like this. They trust their scouting, their development pipeline, and their core veterans. But sometimes, staying the course isn't enough. Sometimes, you need that jolt, the big swing. And Jaire Alexander, if healthy, is that swing. He's a game changer, and game changers win championships. So let's throw it back to you, Ravens flock. You've heard the case. The cap space is there. The need is real. The chemistry is undeniable. And the timing couldn't be better. Should Baltimore make a move now, while they still can? Or is patience the better play? Comment down below and let us know. Would you sign Jaire Alexander to a short-term prove-it deal, or let him walk and trust the current room? And here's something else to consider. How would opposing offenses react if the Ravens suddenly added Jaire Alexander to their secondary? Picture it, Marlon Humphrey on one side, Jaire Alexander on the other, and a mix of young, fast, and aggressive defensive backs behind them. That would force quarterbacks to hesitate, coordinators to adjust, and offenses to rethink their entire passing approach. It's not just about upgrading a position, it's about changing the way teams prepare for Baltimore. This move could also impact the locker room. Bringing in a proven veteran with playoff experience could push the younger guys like Nate Wiggins and Jalen Armour-Davis to elevate their game. Iron sharpens iron, and having someone like Jaire in the room would raise the standard across the board. It sends a message from the front office to the players. We're not here to rebuild or be good enough. We're here to win now. And finally, think about the legacy aspect. Every championship team makes a defining move, a calculated risk that becomes a turning point. Could Jaire Alexander be that move for the 2025 Ravens? Let us know in the comments. Are you willing to take that risk?